More massive news for supermicrocomputer stock investors, and this time it's good news, and the stock is up over 30% on the back of news that there was no evidence of misconduct on the part of management or the board of directors regarding their financial statements, and no restatements of its financials reported over the last year and a half will be required. What a breath of fresh air for supermicrocomputer stock investors. In this video, I'm going to go over the details that were released on December 2nd by Supermicro and what it could mean for Supermicro stock investors, as well as update my recommendation on Supermicro stock following these developments. What do I think about the stock now? Do I think it's a buy, hold, or sell? I'll update all of that here. Let's get into it.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
All right, the special committee supported by the outside counsel Cooley LLP and the forensic accounting firm Secretariat Advisors found no evidence of misconduct on the part of management or the board of directors. No restatement of reported financials are expected. And that was great news for Supermicro stock investors, which are seeing the stock price up by more than 31% as of this recording. Of course, it's a highly volatile stock, and I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of this video, the price is very different from the beginning of the video. I'll check back in towards the end of the video, and we'll see where the price has moved, whether higher or lower. I don't know, but it's going to be volatile to be sure. So the conclusions that its previous accounting firm, Ernst & Young, stated in its resignation letter were not supported by the facts examined in this review. This is what the special committee found and reported to EY on October 2nd, or the special committee's final findings. So again, good news for Supermicro stock investors, but remember, the special committee was part of Supermicro Computer. So it's really not an independent organization. It was Supermicro Computer conducting this investigation and, in essence, clearing itself of any wrongdoing. So the special committee's key findings are summarized here. The evidence reviewed by the special committee did not raise any substantial concerns about the integrity of Supermicro's senior management or audit committee. And I only have a quibble with this adjective here. Any substantial concerns? Why did they need to add the word substantial here? This just raises my question. Does this mean that there were concerns, but that these concerns are not substantial? And are you judging that they are not substantial? So I'm curious why they included this word here. Then they go on to say the audit committee demonstrated appropriate independence and generally provided proper oversight over matters relating to financial reporting. Again, generally provided proper oversight. Why did they not provide proper oversight? Generally, I take to mean that there were several instances where they did not demonstrate proper oversight. And then with respect to the rehiring of former employees, which was one of the big concerns here, is that they rehired former employees that were found of misconduct in a prior investigation a few years ago. And they say with respect to rehiring the former employees, the tone at the top of the company was appropriate and fully consistent with the commitment to proper financial reporting and legal compliance. Okay. So does that mean you did rehire these individuals and did not ensure proper oversight of these individuals so that the prior mistakes were not made again? Again, more question marks. These statements are raising more question marks in my mind than they are answering many of the questions I had coming into this investigation. So in late July 2024, EY, their former auditor, communicated to the audit committee concerns about matters related to governance, transparency, and the company's internal control over financial reporting. So this special committee was comprised of Susie Giordano, an independent member of Supermicro's board of directors. So it's Supermicro Computer's board of directors. Ms. Gordiano is an experienced attorney, joined the board in August 2024, specifically for this reason, to lead the special committee's efforts to review the matters outlined above. Interesting. I'm I find it curious that Ms. Giordano needed to join the board of directors in order to conduct an independent audit or an independent review. Why couldn't this individual, conduct this investigation not while not joining the board of directors? I'm curious about that. The special committee's rigorous investigation took over 3 months, with independent counsel devoting over 9,000 hours and the Secretariat Forensic Accounting team over 2,500 hours for the review. So the special committee is trying to demonstrate that they were rigorous with the investigation, that they conducted their due diligence and spent many hours on this process. And congratulations to the Secretariat Forensic Accounting firm, which looks like billed Supermicro Computer over 2,500 hours of service. So congrats to that accounting firm at the shareholder expense here. So they go on to talk about the rehiring of employees. The company's decision to rehire certain individuals was the product of reasonable business judgment. Okay. And these lapses included instances of not informing the company's audit committee, including not informing EY prior to entering in June 2024 into a now terminated consulting arrangement with the company's former CFO, who had resigned following the 2017 audit committee investigation. So the former CFO resigned following a 2017 investigation that found improper conduct. So the company, instead of rehiring this CFO outright, just entered into a consulting arrangement with that CFO, and that was in June of 2024, and they now canceled that arrangement. Okay, so they realized that this was a mistake and they canceled that arrangement. That was a prudent decision. And then there was some discussion about sales to regions that had export restrictions. And so the special committee did not see any evidence suggesting that anyone at the company tried to circumvent export control regulations or restrictions, or that anyone at the company was aware that any of its products might be diverted to a prohibited end user or location. They also did not identify products that were sold to Russian customers or shipped to Russia in violation of export controls or sanction laws that were in place when products were shipped. Okay, so they cleared themselves of that wrongdoing as well, or that rumored wrongdoing. And then the board has adopted all of the special committee's recommendations. So the special committee gave them some recommendations how to fix things going forward to not have these issues, and the board will adopt all of those recommendations. Again, that's very prudent. You don't want to waste your time with an investigation like this if you're not going to follow the recommendations and the outcomes of the investigation. So this is surely, well, I shouldn't say surely, because the company went through this before and they had to go through it again with these types of situations, and now they're hopefully fixing things permanently. Right, so all right, back to the stock price. It's still around $43 per share, where it was when I started this recording. Surprisingly, not as volatile as I would expect. But the good news here is that they did not, after all of this investigation, find reason to restate their financial statements. In other words, they didn't find any cause to go back and say, look, we told you revenue was 20 billion, but actually we should have reported revenue at 15 billion and profit should have been 1 billion instead of 5 billion or something lower, right? So that's the good outcome, is that they didn't find any reason to have to change their financial statements after this whole investigation. Now you can argue whether or not this investigation is um, has any merit because it's the company's board of directors that's conducting the investigation, and that of course the internal team will want to reveal results that are not so negative for the company. They're not going to want to put their own company under the bus here. But at the same time, the company is interested in regaining the trust of investors and doing things in a way that regains that trust from investors. This is a massive company with revenue that's exploding in an industry that's expected to grow for a decade or more. And so they want to get this right. So they're going to spend the time and effort and energy to fix whatever needs to be fixed. I feel that if they needed to restate their revenue downward, that they would have done that. We just recently saw Symbotic do a similar restatement of their financials. Sure, it gives you a hit to your stock price. Symbotic stock price was down just about as much as Supermicro Computer stock is up because of those restatements, and surely they wouldn't want to experience a similar kind of drop down in stock price, but longer term, it may have benefited the company overall. So, very interesting here. Great news for Supermicro stock investors. Prior to today's news, I had the company rated as a borderline sell, and following today's news, I upgraded the stock to a hold or market perform, and I'll update further as more information is revealed. Before I let you go, let me tell you about the greatest deal on YouTube. With just a click of a button, you can get free financial analysis from a professor with decades of investing experience. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.